Agenda.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Arabile, what's the significance of BRICS at a time like this in South Africa when there's talks of fears of a recession?
Yeah, look, it's probably one of our most critical and most important partnerships, really, if you consider just where the globe is sitting right now. Of course, it would be really interesting at that point. You just saw Nhlanhla Nene step up as well. So the finance minister said to bring up some agendas of his own as well. Look, inclusive economic growth has been a very key element for South Africa in itself, right? So taking itself and being a part of the entire process with regards to BRICS is quite key in bringing in a lot more investment. The president speaking about the $100 billion that he aims to, try and fester into the local economy, and saying that locals must lead that conversation as well. That's according to his economic advisor, saying that if we're going to find a way to try and boost growth in South Africa, it needs to be led by the locals. And he stemmed that message there as well. Let's remember as well what's happening between South Africa and its other trading partners as well. I think that element is definitely going to be very important, and this partnership is key to that.
Well, let's just talk about that partnership. The president did say that it's not only a political formation, but a very important economic formation.
Yeah.
But is it working for South Africa?
That is the question all the time, really. If you take a look at things that have really happened over the past few years even, you'd probably say no. We're still having to prove ourselves as the reasons as why exactly are we in this BRICS formation. It certainly hasn't made sense for many people as yet. And certainly all that you'd think of is the BRICS Development Bank that was formed, and just how that could help development. South Africa does have a few projects underlined in which it's seeking money from the BRICS Development Bank itself. But let's remember, we occupy a very small portion of it. And if we don't continue to spend on infrastructure locally, we're certainly going to see a weakening in investment. That $100 billion that the president's asking for is certainly not going to be achieved anytime soon. It just means that confidence in South Africa's economy is bound to weaken and get worse and worse. We speak about growth. 1.3% is definitely not going to cut it if we aim to continue to get better and better.
Let's talk some more about the bank. Recently in South Africa, we launched a regional office with Treasury, forwarding Monale Ratsuma to go and lead that bank. What are they going to contribute to this summit on the 25th? Will it be anything tangible?
Yeah, Monale Ratsuma, very capable and competent DDG, of course, from National Treasury, moving on to that side. Look, fact of the matter is that development bank is aimed at producing a lot more development projects across the BRICS nations, not just ourselves, but also the emerging market space as a whole, right? So I think what happens is that South Africa is going to occupy, as I said, a really small part of that process, and maybe it's about time that South Africa finds its feet and says to itself, we need to grow ourselves and sort out its own problems also.
Arabile, thank you very much indeed for your time. Great insight there. Arabile Gumede is our markets reporter.
Thanks for your time.
Let's take a bit of a break. The agenda will be back after this. Stay with us.